Something totally
We shot the whole procedure.
Please, one step.
One after.
Yes,
խնդրենք որ կադրում առանձին կանգնեն։
They would like to ask you to be alone in the video so that it's separate interview.
You want to separate me from my member state? This is not good. Okay. Yes.
What will be the support for Armenia? We have learned a little bit about the green agreement and this is the green economy project. What was the reason that this area was selected? Were there challenges in that area or what?
As a first of all, the question of Green Deal is the priority for the European Union.
Առաջին հերթին կանաչ գործարքը առաջնահերթություն է Եվրոպական միության համար։
Agriculture is one of the biggest sectors in Armenia, and the European Union, together with the member states, are already quite active in this area.
Գյուղատնտեսությունը Հայաստանի ամենամեծ ծավալուն ոլորտներից մեկն է եւ Եվրոպական միությունը եւ անդամ պետությունների հետ միասին արդեն շատ ակտիվ են այդ ոլորտում։
And this project, which we do together with Austria, is, I think, the best practice where you can tackle a lot of areas which are of importance for every country.
Եվ այս պրոյեկտը, որը մենք Ավստրիայի հետ միասին ենք իրականացնում, շատ վառ պրոյեկտ է, որի միջոցով կարելի է շատ ոլորտներում եւ բնակավարներում լուրջ փոփոխություններ ունենալ։
Also we are advocating a sustainable organic production.
Մենք խրախուսում ենք կայուն օրգանական պրոդուկցիան։
This helps the environment. This increases food security. This offers job opportunities. So I think it is a wonderful project.
Եվ այս ծրագիրը օգնում է բնապահպանության զարգացմանը, շրջակա միջավայրին, ապահովում է սննդի անվտանգությունը, ինչպես նաև բավականին մեծ աշխատատեղերի հնարավորություն է ստեղծում, ուստի այն լավ ծրագիր է։
And it helps to develop the regions, which is also one of our priorities, to see that in the different masses there are new opportunities to create jobs, to support small and medium-sized companies.
Եվ միաժամանակ ասել կուզեմ, որ այն նաև տարածաշրջանային զարգացմանն է նպաստում, մարզերում զարգացմանը, որը մեր նաև գերակայություններից մեկն է, ստեղծելով հնարավորություն նոր աշխատատեղերի համար։
Արժեքը ինչպես է որոշվել, ծրագրի, եւ սա նշանակում է, որ արդյոք հայկական մթերքին վստահում է Եվրոպան։
Armenian product is trusted by European
Եվ սիրում է ուտել։
And Europe likes Armenian food and products.
I think on the budget I leave the question to my Austrian colleague because we have to share a little bit the responsibility. I think we like Armenian food, at least I like Armenian foods, but I'm also living here in Armenia.
Ինչ վերաբերում է բյուջեին, թույլ տվեք ես դա թողնեմ իմ գործընկերոջը Ավստրիային, որովհետև մենք կիսում ենք պատասխանատվությունները։ Ինչ վերաբերում է ուտելիքին, սնունդին եւ պրոդուկցիային, ես ինքս շատ սիրում եմ հայկական ուտեստները։
But if you have really organic food according to European standards, it makes it much easier then, in a second step, also to export it to the European Union.
Բայց բացի այդ, եթե պրոդուկցիան նաև օրգանական ծագում ունի, օրգանական է, դա ավելի հեշտացնում է այդ պրոդուկցիան եվրոպական երկրներ արտահանելը։
There's naturally a procedure, we have to check the phytosanitary standards, but I think there we are supporting in the right direction.
Իհարկե ընդհանրակարգեր գոյություն ունեն, մենք այնտեղ աջակցում ենք ֆիտոսանիտարական չափանիշների բավարարմանը, բայց իհարկե անելիքները տեսանելի են։
So then, with pleasure, I'm taking over the second question, and I'm also like to mention that we are very happy and pleased that we are now continuing the engagement and the efforts in the field of green and organic agriculture. I would like to state that Austria, in fact, is the member state of the European Union with the biggest size of agricultural land which is certified organic. So it was natural for us, and we are very happy that we are again invited.
You have to give him the
by
opportunity
European
to
Commission
translate.
to implement the second project, which is a continuation of the organic project we had.
He gets a nervous breakdown. It's not only me.
Նշում նաև որ Ավստրիան Եվրամիության անդամ երկիր է, Ավստրիան Եվրամիությունում անհասանում է երկրներից մեկը, որ տնտեսության մասնաբաժիններից ամենախոշոր գյուղատնտեսությունը,
So for this new project, I will keep it short enough for this new project, we are implementing 11.7 million euros, which 9.7 come from the European Union directly, and 2 million are added on top by the Austrian Development Agency.
Ավստրիական զարգացման գործակալությունն է տրամադրում, որից 2 միլիոնը համաֆինանսավորում է Եվրամիությունը։
And we implemented this project with our partner NEWS, and we are focusing on the three northern markets of Armenia.
Ծրագրի մասնակցում նաև իրացան ազգերի կազմակերպության հիմնական ուղղվածությունը տնտեսային
Եվ եթե չկա Հայաստանում գյուղատնտեսության նախարարություն, ով է իրականացնում վերահսկողությունը տնտեսական կոնսուլտացիա։
And in the absence of the Ministry of Agriculture in Armenia, who will be implementing the oversight of the
Of agriculture here, don't offend him.
Այստեղ է գտնվում գյուղատնտեսության փոխնախարարը, եկեք իրեն
Now it is now in the Ministry of Economy, if I can help.
տնտեսական էկոնոմիկայի նախարարության կազմում է գտնվում, եթե դա օգտակար կլինի։ And what about the distribution and selection of
we had a discussion with the government on how to support, let's say, regions, and we decided to have the three northern region where we do this in agriculture, but we also have an element on tourism to support especially the masses that are in a rather difficult economic situation.
Մենք կառավարության հետ աջակցություն ենք ունեցել, քննարկում ենք ունեցել եւ համատեղ միասնաբար ընտրել են 3 հյուսիսային մարզերը, որի ուղղությամբ ֆոկուս ենք դնում գյուղատնտեսությունը, բայց նաեւ туриզմի զարգացումը եւ դրանք այն մարզերն են, որոնք մտնում են այն մարզերի կազմում։
Պաստորի վերահսկողություն չի լինելու։
Good afternoon to everyone. May I kindly ask you to take your seats? Thanks a lot. Please, if you don't mind, take your seats. Well, heart. We decided, together with many of you, not to wait that long and to set up this new partnership. It's the famous Gaia. It's a new acronym that we will have to all get familiar. It's the promotion of this new EU Green Agriculture Initiative in Armenia. As you know, it's a new partnership together co-funded by the European Union and ADA, as our Austrian Development Agency colleagues, and also with partial implementation support from UNDP in this program. Apologies first, we are running a bit late. We had a bit of a media moment earlier today, so I'm going to just request first our ambassador, Andrea Victorin, also from the EU delegation, to give the speech, and then we move on from the program. Andrea, please.
Deputy Minister, first of all, welcome to the club. I would say, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I must say I am impressed that so many people are coming. Perhaps the good organic food beats the coronavirus, I would say. So more than happy to see you all here. I think we cannot say it often enough that agriculture, forest, organic economy are one block of the EU long-term strategy, since we provide also sufficient food and in the same time try to support energy, the industry, and also the construction sector. I was asked before by the journalist, so I will start with this, why we are doing this in the three northern masses. Not only because I see the governor here, I think it was our joint effort to have pilot regions. Because if you spread actions all over the country, you cannot see the results so clearly. The three northern masses have the need to get an input in the economic development. And by the way, I can say all three governors are really engaged and very willing to work with us. So this was one of the reasons that together with the government we decided to concentrate on these three areas. Agricultural production will always result in non-CO2 emissions, but these emissions can be reduced through efficient and sustainable production methods. And this is something we are heading for. We expect also in the same time, and we are very happy, we discussed it with the Minister of Environment, an increased demand of biomass, but this biomass again needs to be produced in a sustainable way. It is also very important that we care for our forests, that we do not cut them down. Instead, the government of Armenia is now heading to plant 10 million trees. And I think this is a good endeavor also to increase our national carbon sinks, which is, I think, a need for Armenia. And I think this is also very important, and who could be better to talk about lifestyle, is really to have a change in mentality, in life, that will play an important role. So for the Armenians, sorry to say, it also means how many meat are you eating and what meat, how this food is produced, and then we come back to food security. Agriculture is one of Armenia's main sectors of the economy, contributing about 18% of the GDP, and it is providing about 36% of the labor force, so it is quite an important area. The EU Green Agriculture Initiative in Armenia is currently the biggest agricultural project financed by the EU in Armenia. It will focus, as I said, on the three northern masses, and it meets the commitments we have undertaken in the comprehensive and enhanced partnership agreement, which foresees cooperation at preserving, protecting, improving, and rehabilitating the environment, and also utilizing natural resources in a sustainable measure. So this new project, which we launched today, is really fitting in our overall endeavors. And with this project, we also want, on one hand, to support small and medium-sized enterprises. Organic food gives you the opportunity to develop really a high-level economy, which I think is very interesting also then internationally. And we are also enhancing the administrative capacities at central and at local level in the planning, evaluation, and in the implementation of policies in accordance with the legislation of the European Union, and also to share best practices. The European Neighbourhood Programme for Agriculture and Rural Development and the Organic Agriculture Support Initiative already contributed to the economic growth in Armenia and to increased employment. And the objective of the European Union here in Armenia is to support increase of the number of the small businesses producing high added value, also in agribusiness. The former project and this new project will aim to promote green and organic production practices which enhance the food safety, because there are a lot of important reasons to support this. The main requirements, and there I come to a question that could be interesting for many of you, in the end, they are willing to pay a higher price for better food. By using natural and organic food, we take good care of our soil, we think of our children and the future and our health, and to live in balance with the nature. And this is, I think, the game of this new, the goal of this new project, to contribute to the realization of shared and balanced inclusive growth through boosting green agriculture, I hope also organic wining, and enhancing the local value for the regions we are cooperating with. And in the same time, we are presenting new technical modernization and innovations that will help to boost the development of these regions. So I thank you very much. I think this is really a great moment. I'm very much looking forward to see the outcome and to have really a lot of new initiatives and new small companies coming out of it, and I wish you all a lot of success. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Ambassador, for the introductory remarks. May I now invite to our brand new Minister of Economy dealing with agriculture in the country. I think this is a very important signal.
Cooperation have significant impact on the sector's development, and I believe that the efforts to register success over the past years have borne great fruit. We must stride forward in the coming years to achieve common goals. A few days ago, an evaluation of UNDP's previous program took place, but I think a stronger evaluation of UNDP's work in Armenia can be made by visiting the regions they're targeting and seeing how happy and content farmers are who benefited from the projects that they implemented. Agriculture should not only be considered as a main occupation for farmers, but must be recognized as an established culture and be viewed as a profitable business. We must make every effort to create a sustainable environment for new agribusinesses to flourish, and then in turn to become locomotives for promoting other businesses in the field. Once again, I would like to express my sincere wish for the continued development of our professional relations and our, it's always promising, partnership between the European Union and the government of Armenia. So thank you very much and good luck to all of us. Thanks much.
Thank you. Well, Madam Ambassador, Mr. Deputy Minister, dear Ms. Stoykova from our partner UNDP, dear Pascal, obviously, Excellencies, colleagues, partners and friends indeed. I'm very, very happy to be here today on this important day, which marks actually 1 year since we have had the closing of the OASI project. I looked at the calendar and it was in March 2019 when we closed it, where the Austrian Development Agency has, with the generous support of the European Union, given the first boost to organic agriculture in this country. Back then, in the Green Training Center in March 2019, I said, every end is a new beginning. And indeed, here we are today, marking the official launch of the new EU Gaia project. Before we learn more about the details of this new project, which will be presented by my colleagues, I would like to give you a very quick overview about ADA's activities in general in the country. I do hope that you can see the presentation now. Yes? Okay, good. So ADA has been a priority country for, Armenia has been a priority country for ADA since 2011. 2012 we have closed the cooperation agreement between our two countries. 2014 we have marked the opening of the ADC Yerevan office. And in Armenia our priority sector is agriculture. We are currently, ADA is, as a member state agency, a small but an effective player in supporting and working together with the European Union in implementing projects. We are currently implementing 15 projects on behalf of the European Union in about 10 countries. Not all of them are in agriculture, but for example in Moldova we are working on developing organic soya. And in Armenia also our priority is agriculture. We have currently 3 projects ongoing which we are funding, because ADA is a funding agency and an implementing agency at the same time. So we are supporting CART with animal identification, registration, preparation. We are supporting SDA together with our Swiss partners on the livestock development in Armenia. And we are also supporting iCare with the fruit production sector development project with a very beautiful name, Fruitenia. As an implementing agency, we have supported the EU-funded NPOD project with funds, and we have implemented ourselves the mentioned OASI project from 15 to 19. And now we have started last year, but today we are kicking off the EU Gaia project. And I'm very happy to say that this is actually a very, very big sign of trust by the European partners in ADA, because we have more than tripled the budget for this new intervention. Before we go to the future, I will take 1 more minute of your time to go back in time and to memorize what we have achieved before. In the OASI project, we have supported 45 beneficiaries with about 1 million direct support. We have enhanced their production capacities, improved their product quality and quantity. We have developed new brands, logos and packaging for almost all of them, which are still on the market, and you can see them also out here today. We have increased the turnover of the producers about 26% in a year. We have created 800 permanent seasonal jobs, and we have increased the number of organic farmers and processors by about 120%. On top of that, we established linkages along the value chains and raised awareness on organic in Armenia about 40%. We have provided support to exhibit the products at international trade fairs, and producers from Armenia have come home with 25 signed contracts in their pockets. The Organic Armenia Association was founded, and I'm very happy that after a year I'm back and I can still see the colleagues around. So we also speak about some sustainable intervention here. We have provided recommendations to the government to improve the policy and legal framework. We worked with the Ministry of Education on an organic module and on the handbooks, so that organic practices can be taught in agricultural colleges here. And with NPART, we cooperated and translated the FAO manual on organic agriculture to Armenian. Here on the map you can see that we have conquered almost all of Armenia with organic projects. For some reason which we still don't know, we didn't have Chirac back then, so I'm more than happy that with this project we are very much focusing on the north and on Chirac in particular. Here are some impressions of our partners. And now I come to the future, which is the #UGAIA project. We are talking about the budget of 11.7 million euros, out of which 9.7 are generously contributed by the European Union, and 2 million are co-funded by ADA. And these 2 million are also implemented by our partner UNDP. And we're going to be here for 42 months. And most definitely now from a headquarter perspective, I'm looking forward to Pascal's presentation in 3 years, where he will present three times the number of successes and outcomes that I have now talked from the OASI project. As I said, we are focusing on the north, Chirac, Lore, Tavush provinces, and the objective, as has also been read out by the ambassador, is to contribute to the realization of shared and balanced inclusive growth in the northern regions through boosting green agriculture and enhancing the local value added. Now what that means will be now presented by my colleagues from ADA and from UNDP. Thank you very much, and I wish you much of success.
Okay, thanks a lot, David. If I may request now to Mihaela Stokoska to join us and to share with us a bit the perspectives from the program in the value change area. Thanks a lot.
Dear Deputy Minister, Madam Ambassador, dear colleagues and other guests in this room, it's really a great pleasure to be here today and see a full room of people who are interested in integrated development. In our books, in the UN books, there is one important sustainable development goal which talks about partnerships. And I think this occasion is one very good kind of confirmation how partnerships can make a difference in development. We have two founding partners. We have UNDP as the implementing partner, and in that regard I would like to start my presentation or my short overview with expressing huge gratitude to the EU and ADA for their contribution, and also the privilege for UNDP to be part of this kind of interesting endeavor. As some of you know, I'm very happy to see our friends from the regions here and other ministries, Ministry of Territorial Administration, agriculture and a lot of other colleagues. It's really, for UNDP, this is one very important aspect of the overall integrated development paradigm that we are trying to implement. And that's probably what makes us slightly different than other agencies, is that our outlook is the holistic one. And that's how we also see this project. And in terms of what we see as the focus operationally, and particularly the focus that we will be looking at is the value chains. So where is our starting premise? The starting premise is that obviously agriculture is one of the top national priorities. Another, as I said, evidence that this is indeed correct. But that doesn't mean that there are not challenges in terms of how the agriculture practices are being implemented. And some of the ones that are very commonly known are the high input and transaction costs, limited land resources, ineffective farming practices, problems with infrastructure, specific production behaviors, limited knowledge, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of factors that are somehow limiting and jeopardizing or undermining, I would say, the potential in the agriculture sector and the competitiveness of the agriculture sector. So then there is also the intelligence that we are using or we are supposed to use. There was a lot of discussion about SMEs and enterprises that revolve around the agriculture sector. I really appreciated your comment that agriculture and farming is not only farmers' business, and I think this is something we need to take forward. And in that regard, we will be also looking at what is the competitiveness of Armenia in terms of production volumes and scales. Is that the trajectory that we are looking at? Or we should also explore further or more in-depth other approach in terms of having Armenia positioned as a competitive premium product exporter. So finding the specific niches where Armenia will really be able to kind of demonstrate its very unique potentials in terms of not only farming and products, but also the overall kind of cultural and socio-economic environment that revolves around that niche production and competitive premium product production. Of course, you would not be, it's not a surprise that for us, climate change adaptation and sensitiveness of agriculture practices towards climate change is an important imperative. And in that sense, green agriculture, which in translation would mean an adaptable agriculture that will look at increasing farming yields, but at the same time reducing waste and inefficiency problems in our food chain. So in that regard, we will be really, we are interested to look at the sustainable services for the ecosystem, support climate change adaptation, and of course provide higher return to labor. We really see this initiative as a part of a bigger effort, and some of that effort is importantly happening at strategic and policy level. EU has been supporting other initiatives such as the agriculture census, first I think ever, then the NPART project. There are other initiatives that tackle practical elements, but also the conceptual and strategic efforts around this area. And we are really looking forward to contribute with this project to feed more practices, information, and guiding points towards that strategic framework and joint efforts going forward. Again, I would like to, as the other speakers, congratulate ourselves on this launch and on this joint effort, and looking forward to a next occasion where we will be talking more about results and lessons learned, and then share those for our future endeavors. I wish us all a successful project. Thank you, Gonzalo.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Mihaela. Particularly, I did appreciate the mention to the